review, I actually have some good news about the PlayStation 5 USA. Imagine someone just being objective and not blindly hating on a company and praises them for good things and then condemns them for bad things. That's what I do, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it.
I'm Gabe Newell.
Skip it up and that up. So I have been saying this for years, and it's part of the reason why I barely gamed on the PlayStation 4 this generation and the Xbox One. I mostly gamed on PC and Switch. It's a preference of mine, but this is part of it with the PlayStation 4 is that downloads on the PlayStation 4, Ethernet or not, took forever. They took forever. And on the Xbox One, when I would download a game, it was much quicker. At least in my experience. Some people disagree with me, say it's the other way around. Whatever the case may be, I can only go by. I've had multiple internet services in several homes, and that's what I've noticed. PS4 downloads are super slow. They were unbearably slow. And that was one of my biggest gripes with the PlayStation 4. Well, Sony has finally remedied this with coming out in a couple days, PlayStation 5, and it sounds like amazing news, and thank God this is happening. This comes from comicbook.com. I'm going to read it to you, then we will discuss. Thankfully, on PlayStation 5, game download speeds are much faster. Of course, how much faster is dependent on a whole list of factors, but generally, reviews and impressions are reporting download speeds are 5 to 10 times faster. Oh, thank God. This not only means downloading smaller games with smaller install sizes will feel like an instantaneous process, but massive games with massive install sizes, like Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption, etc., won't take nearly as long. How is this possible? Well, it largely comes down to the PlayStation 5's SSD, which, according to Sony, will not only drastically increase download speeds, but should allow for developers to shrink the download sizes of their games. Whether the latter will play out like Sony suggests remains to be seen, but it would be great news for the millions that play games under the restrictions of a data cap. Now look, I still think it's inexcusable that Sony doesn't have a quick resume feature. I understand why the NVMe SSD slot on the PlayStation 5 is disabled until Sony's confident that there's enough drives out on the market that people could buy, M.2 drives that will work with the PlayStation 5. I understand that. The quick resume thing, I'm not as forgiving of, especially when your competitor's having that feature, which makes gaming super convenient because I like bouncing back and forth between games all the time. I think that's a huge win for Microsoft, and Sony will eventually have the feature, but the fact that it's not at launch, seriously, Sony, but this is really good news, though. And I'm glad to hear that downloads are going to be much smaller, because that was a huge problem with me. I was just like, even if there was an exclusive, I'm like, I don't have time to sit there. I mean, you don't have to sit there, obviously. You do it and then go do other things. But when I want a game, man, when I have time, like, I'm 39 with kids, it's all over. Like, it could be at 10 o'clock at night. It could be at 2 in the afternoon for a half an hour. It could be, you know what I mean? I don't have a day to dedicate to gaming, and when I have a bit of time to do it, I just want to do it. And if I have to buy a game and wait for it to download, and even if you buy a game on disc, you have to wait sometimes for big patches. It's like, oh my God, give me a break. And if this remedies that issue and makes downloads much quicker, maybe I'll be gaming on console more this generation than I did on the last one, because 8th gen, it was Switch and PC mostly for me. And look, I want to address something and make it abundantly clear. I call it like I see it. I'm not saying all of my takes are right. I'm sure there's a decent amount of them that are wrong, but I don't praise or condemn any company blindly. I'm not a fanboy of Sony. I'm not a fanboy of Microsoft. I'm not a fanboy of Nintendo. I prefer to game on PC, but I'll call out the shortcomings of PC in a heartbeat. I don't let preferences. I try to be as objective as possible. And when there's a major win for Microsoft, I'll discuss it. When there's a major win for Sony, I'll discuss it. When there's a major win for Nintendo, I'll discuss it. When I feel one of the three companies need to be called out, I'm going to call them out. I'm not going to sit there and defend a company when they do wrong and only praise a company when they do good. I don't do that with politics, and I don't do that with gaming. I remain objective, and I look at what a company is doing right and what a company is doing wrong, and I call them out for it. If you're looking for a YouTube channel that's going to blindly defend your favorite corporation, this ain't it, Chief. Just want to make that clear. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one, baby. Gaben still has a really nice beard.
I'm Gabe Newell.
Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.